Good morning, everyone. Today I wanted to take some time to introduce some proofreading strategies that you can use as you approach submitting your final draft of your essays. When we talk about proofreading, a lot of people will use that term the same way that they would use editing, but they're actually two very distinct tasks. You've been editing your papers. You read through them, you think about different ideas that you could include, you think about the different order that you could explore your information, you continue to work on writing with different stylistic elements, and more of the big picture ideas in terms of how do we put the essay together, how do we build the structure of the essay. Whereas with proofreading, it's less about those internal skeleton of the essay, and it's more about just the surface level mechanical errors that we make as a last pass, which is what the Purdue Online Writing Lab calls it. Your last check, everything else is looking pretty good. What are the mechanical errors, punctuation errors, different things that we could catch as we proofread? Jan Madrasso, who wrote an article, "The Proofreading the Skill We've Neglected to Teach," reminds us that this is a skill. It's something we can practice. And she shares some ideas for some different strategies that we can employ as we build that skill of proofreading. One of them is oral reading with a partner. Now, during our previous peer reviews, during our previous editing discussion, we talked about the benefits of reading your own paper out loud. In this case, we are going to employ some of that. And as we discussed before, reading out loud, it forces you to slow down in your reading so that you can't just skip to the next thing, which helps you spot errors. But when we're listening to someone else read our paper, as you and a partner each print out a copy of your paper and mark it up as the other person reads it out loud, then the places where your reader pauses could very well signal problems with the text, whether it's sentence structure, spelling, mechanical issues, and you're able to hear those and mark them up, just as the reader is reading out loud and marking things up as well. A fresh set of eyes that doesn't know what we're trying to say can be very, very helpful in this scenario. Another excellent strategy is reading backwards. Now, we're not reading every word of the paper backwards. We're reading backwards in terms of the order of the sentences. And this lets you focus more on each sentence as its own little universe and what could the problems be with this sentence. Sometimes, if you know for sure, if I've talked to you in the past about, you've got to worry about sentence fragments, you got to keep an eye out for passive voice or this or that. Sometimes you could go through this process with a very specific focus of, I'm going to keep an eye out for this problem. Other times, you can read through it in general and combine this with reading out loud as well. It slows you down, and you can also try to use that backwards idea where you're not just jumping from one sentence to the next to catch those mechanical errors that are the focus of the proofreading stage. And our last one here would be something that both Madrasso and the University of Wisconsin-Madison Writing Center suggest, which is to take advantage of the search function that is built into all word processing programs. For a lot of people using laptops, it would be using Control F. We can search for semicolons, especially if we know we could have punctuation issues. We could look for commas. We could look for parentheses if you have in-text citation issues. Or you could use it to look for words that wouldn't necessarily show up on spell check, like there, or there. By using these different strategies, you should be able to catch any last errors that are present in your essay. Thank you very much.